I mean, it could be that we're just missing that ban. We'll have to see. But I think the Jax and the Camille are smart bans away from the Gwen. It's kind of saying, hey, look, we're going to set up Zika perfectly in the side lane to make sure that he's going to have no real issues. And already you're getting like the Gangplank, Gwen, Camille. Like, there's a lot that's already banned. Yeah, there's going to be the remake, but I think you're going to see a huge amount. Oh, okay. Actually, just a reset. We get the Nautilus ban, but yeah, I think there's a huge amount of pressure now onto Bin as to what exactly he wants to go for. Because you don't really want to go towards like a big tank in the top side because you do really poorly against the Gwen. But I feel like with the composition BLG have, something like a Sion or Norn would work really well.
Yep, certainly could. Certainly could. I like the Lissandra ban as well towards Yuekai. While Yuekai hasn't actually played Lissandra, he has played a lot of the Swain, a lot of the Ahri, a lot of the Galio. Amumu!
Let's go! So this is a Amumu support.
Have Xin Zhao.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Amumu support in the longest time. So Amumu started to come back into the meta when he initially got changed, and because he had the double bandage toss and was super aggressive in lane, it could set up a ton of plays. And I think this is sick because it means that On is actually who's playing instead of XinLiu will have a ton of roam potential here and can actually set up some really big plays and can provide that engage to us. So it becomes very difficult for BLG to actually play out these fights with that massive Amumu ult and how short range BLG are.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. It's going to be certainly an interesting bottom lane. Kalista Amumu. And hey, the Kalista ult's fantastic, right? Having that extra gap close. You just throw him in and then he goes kiss the sad mummy. The bandage toss can be a follow-up. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that one's going to work out. Sylas comes out for Icon. That'll be his second time playing this champion. Now we just need a lock-in for that mid lane. Oh, I'm so excited, Dagda. I can't wait to see this one.
I love how Icon was like, wait, yeah, Amumu ult is sick. I'm going to get a bit of that. I want a bit of this Amumu ult. Because he's just like, hey, look, just provide a little bit more engage to him. Have the counter punch whenever Amumu goes in. And you can just get better AP scaling here for the Sylas. So this is honestly going to be a really, really sick game. And with Yuekai even matching now with the Ryze here to try and push inside us, look for the roams. You've got a really strong 2v2 for IG with Shun and Yuekai, so I expect them to try and play through this mid jungle and then lean into side lanes. But I mean, this is going to be super cool to see how both sides end up using these big ultimates that are available.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm really excited, though. This is going to be such an aggressive game, I feel like, in that bottom side.
Yeah.
Like, you have to play around the Amumu, right? He's got so much setup, and you've already got a Kalista as well. Like, if IG aren't playing around this bottom side, I don't know what they're doing with this draft. Like, that's the way they've got to play.
Yeah, especially because the thing is, when you end up leaving the Kalista and the Aphelios alone, Aphelios can actually do a lot of damage in the early stages, especially if he has things like the Gravitum, Infernum combo, like we've seen him just one-shot Kalistas, because Kalista takes time to ramp up and is very good at these short burst trades, or when she's able to properly stack up damage, but Aphelios has a ton of burst in his kit, which makes it a little bit tough. So if you end up having the Amumu leave the bot lane, you're then opting into that as the Kalista, which can be a little bit scary. So I feel like we're going to have a ton of pressure down towards this bot side, especially with a Ryze there as well. It feels like a no-brainer to look for these dives with the Amumu, pull them back out with the Kalista. I will say though,
yeah,
Arn is the one that's piloting this.
I want to just quickly clarify here. For anyone that doesn't know, Arn is an AD carry. I don't know what has happened. I don't know why IG is not running their main roster here. I'm literally scrolling through their Twitter as we speak to try and find out information. I've not been told anything, but double AD carry the bottom lane. It's going to be Wink playing support on this Amumu, and already starting off strong. On going to be stacking up the spears. Oh my god, they're going to kill Doggo. One more auto. On gets first blood.
And this is why the Amumu's so strong. The fact that you get this double bandage toss means you can provide so much CC in the early stages, and Doggo, he doesn't respect it. The cleanse just kind of comes out for nothing because the bandage toss had already done its due diligence, which means the second one lands, and there you go. The double AD carries clearly better than having a support in the lane.
And I like it. If you're gonna have like no support player, I assume somebody's ill or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have two AD carries in that bottom lane, why not run a kill lane? Why not run something that's super aggressive? It's not like Amumu's the most mechanically intensive champion in the game, you know? So for me, I love it. I like the way that they're approaching this.
I agree. I think this is super smart. You can see here Doggo completely caught out. So they wrap around behind the vision. He takes one step out of the bush. And there you can see with the glacial augment, that's the slow. But I mean, Doggo literally cleanses nothing. Just pure panic. Like, cleanses, tries to cleanse the slow from the glacial augment, but it's still on the glacial augment path, so it does nothing. Wink had a second follow-up on the bandage toss, so Doggo just panicking completely on that play.
Interestingly, Arn still has his Black Spear. Oh my god, stun in the bottom side. I don't think it'll be too much on this one. Just trying to force the level 2 here. Swink actually taking a lot of damage for his trouble. This is the first time that we're seeing the Amumu in a little while as Doggo getting more spears up on him. Arn's gonna rend. One more auto would have done the trick. Oh my days. 7 HP on the Aphelios. 7!
And now he's going to reset. He's going to miss this massive wave. And especially in the early stages, these early levels matter so much. And the fact that Doggo now still level 1 means that WeiWei wants to make a play.
Yuekai in trouble here. Icon, the one to set it up. WeiWei moving in. Yuekai knows that he's doomed on this one, but maybe he can turn it around and go 1-for-1. Oh, he flashes out, but it's followed by WeiWei. Now shunning a 2v1. Can he find the W onto Icon? I don't think so. The Rune Prison will keep him at bay.
Yeah, just barely Icon able to set up that play, but nice job. We talked about how, Mumu here, but how the 2v2 was going to mean so much for this this game, and Icon coming out on top in that initial trade.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, this is already a banger, Dagda. What a game we're witnessing right here. IG moving forward. They want to invade now. Wink is not stopping. He's like, look, if I'm not playing AD carry, I'm a roaming support. I've played enough games where my support abandoned me. You're on your own, mate.
And this is what it looks like when an AD carry is free from the burdening of CS. When he is free to roam the map as he once dreamed of. But honestly, it's working out great. I mean, you've got a 10 CS lead on the bot side. Doggo is down a level as well. The Kalista's already picked up the coal for herself. She's well on her way towards her boost. Like, IG's bot lane is absolutely dominating in the 2v2. You do still have to be careful, though, of making sure that you're able to keep control of this mid lane, though, because if Icon is able to steal things like the Realm Warp, then start to move down towards this bottom side, BLG can start to kind of right the ship here on the bot lane.
Yeah, that'll be the question. I mean, we said right at the start, it's a lot going to be about getting an early lead. Well, certainly if IG can just snowball like crazy, that'll certainly work. But WeiWei, with that first kill, maybe he can be the advantage for BLG. Zika moving in. And we talked about this top lane. We said this is going to be the matchup to watch, right? We were highlighting this 1v1 between Zika and Bin. Not even looked up here just yet because there's been so much action on the bottom side. But as I say that, Zika going aggressive, but Bin's about to turn mega. I don't think that's a fight Zika wants right now. Then again, I've been wrong before, Dagda. He's going aggressive. They are sparring heavily.
I will say, nice sidestep from Zika to dodge Bin's W there, so doesn't actually get the full damage. Wink, now finding out
he
why.
wanted the cannon.
Yeah, you've got to be so careful as a Amumu, because this is the thing, Amumu isn't actually that tanky, especially if you're able to get the trades back. So Wink does have to be very careful that he's finding the right moments to engage here, because poke from Chris, poke from Doggo, even if you end up with the handshake as well to dissuade you, you can put yourself into a really bad position trying to get some of these bandage tosses off, and it can really come back to hurt you.
Yeah, one thing I'm a little curious about, I don't know how the interaction works. So you know how Amumu, when he's against Zeri, takes basically no damage from the Qs because it all counts as auto attacks and his tantrum reduces that damage. Zika all-inning in the top side here. Bin flashes away from the snip. Now Wink in the bottom side as well. Chris in trouble, flashes, keeps himself safe. Wink goes forward again, but IG's health bars are getting kind of low. They have to flash instead as Yuekai moves in, just gets rooted up. Doggo still just going ham on everyone.
Yeah, I mean, nice job from Doggo there, and also Chris. Chris obviously flashes away, but Doggo getting some nice return fire. And that's kind of the problem that you're seeing. If you don't 100% get this engage off, you'll take so much damage. But the fact now you've burnt the summoner spells on Chris means he's now way more vulnerable. And I do expect to see a lot more damage down towards this bot side, especially with the way Shun's probably going to path here. He's going to be pathing back down towards this bot side, can look towards a play on the bot end of the map, plus also maybe towards the dragon, just before that Rift Herald spawns in 2 minutes' time.
Oh, big damage in that replay. That was very nicely played by Chris and Doggo actually to get damage down onto Arn before this play. But they did kind of underestimate what the Amumu could do in return. There's BLG grouping up on the top side here, clearing vision. Icon and WeiWei potential to roam up towards that top side, but Xun and Wink are already here. Wink is up on the top side of the map right now. He has given up on bottom lane entirely. He is not a support. He is a second jungler.
Hey, I mean, look, we've had some great AD carries move into the support role and take over for JJ being one. Maybe we need to add Wink.
Bin's gone for it in the top side at the worst possible moment, and Wink is here to jump over the wall. Down goes Bin, and IG making it work without a support.
I mean, you know what they say was? You quoted this to me before, whereas, like, you know what? Ringo isn't even the best drummer on the Beatles. Maybe XinLiu isn't even the best support on IG, because honestly, Wink's kind of cracked. He's been all over the map. He's finding good engages. He's been setting up pretty well on this bot side, like being in the right place to answer. Maybe this is the combo. Maybe this is more of a for life thing, you know?
Look, all I'm saying is the best supports always used to be AD carries, because AD, you know what your AD carry wants, and you know how to completely abandon your AD carry as well, because you can finally leave that bottom lane. I mean, my favorite example is Aphromu back in the day. If you remember, he swapped over to support back in, like, I don't know, it was like season 2 or 3 or something. But I remember in the short term, he was an amazing support within the LCS. Exciting times back then. There's a way we'll find that ward, but does mean IG have full information. Feel like Drake has to be done soon, right? Herald coming up as well. The fact that no neutrals have been done just yet, yeah, it's making me anxious, Dagda.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Rift Herald is going to be the big one. So On and Wink here should have decent push on towards the bot side. Like, they can actually set this up as a slow push in towards the opposition, although Doggo just instantly cleared the way. But you've got to see if Xun can get down here to try and help out on that. Because you can see WeiWei is already in position to try and help out on this push. And now he's kind of holding the hand of Doggo and Crisp as they move up through River to look towards this Rift Herald.
Yeah, moving up towards that top side here. You can see Wink and On now moving as well. Actually, they're just going for the Gromp. We're going for a reset. I don't think there's going to be a full contest. Yuekai not getting the memo on this one. Getting caught out, forced to flash and chased over the wall by WeiWei. Xun is here, though. WeiWei might have gone a bit too deep, as Ignite is actually burnt there. It's Yuekai's Spellbook Ignite. But BLG should have been able to buy themselves enough space now to just brute force this Herald.
Well, Yuekai does have his TP back up, so should be able to get there. So you still have to be careful here as BLG. I think you got to look for the fight, and once IG start to come through.
I don't know if IG are going to get here in time, though. The Herald's already down to 3k. Maybe they just go for a fight anyway. Sans Herald. BLG have got that one. Icon trying to find the gap close, but Xun dodges it. That Curse of the Sad Mummy would have been the first in the game. Icon getting it before Wink even has access.
Yeah, it could have been very scary when you've got such a big ultimate, and also just the AP scaling going to do a ton of work, although Icon doesn't have a huge amount of AP in his kit at the moment. But yeah, unfortunately IG, they rotate everyone up, not able to get into a position to actually fight it. That means that you don't get to trade anything there. Like, On isn't able to get on towards the bot side to actually get some terror damage, and you're not actually getting the wave fully pushed in mid either, because Yuekai really just caught the wave. So overall, just BLG coming out tops in that.
Look at Icon on the map. We've got Xun in the brush currently. Icon really wants to use this Curse of the Sad Mummy. Zika suddenly in trouble. Xun's still here, but I don't know if they win this one, because here comes WeiWei as well. Curse of the Sad Mummy about to come out any second here. Gets both targets. In comes WeiWei, and down falls Xun. Great play from BLG.
They were hoping that they'd have Yuekai be able to roam up in time to that top side. You can see him moving on the mini-map, but unfortunately, BLG checked the bush right as Yuekai ends up starting to move up, and it means that they're completely caught out. I also think a bit of a mistake from Xun there. I think using the E to try and start off that play, I think he could have waited for the hop from Bin to try and follow, but either way now, it's BLG starting to answer back and getting some of this gold deficit back in their favor.
Yeah, we're just about even on gold. It's only a 400 gold lead in favor of IG for the time being, as it will just be winking on, trying to force a bit of priority in the bottom side. Pings on towards the Drake, but look at Icon once again. I'm loving watching Icon on BLG. He just has no interest in the mid lane. He's getting anywhere else he can on the map. Doggo's here. Crisp trying to get the slow onto Wink to start this one off. The handshake. There's a Fate's Call to keep Wink safe. Wink is still level 5. They don't have the Curse of the Sad Mummy. IG can't fight this.
And this is what we've been talking about with Icon, as he said, like, him roaming around, he will get the wave mid, but again, he's missing just that little bit of CS to try and make these plays happen. And although did get the play in top, couldn't make it succeed in bot, but Yuekai hasn't really been able to punish him. Yuekai hasn't been pushing the waves as quickly, hasn't really got the damage on the turret, has got one plate, but Icon here.
Might have to just use that Xin ult immediately there, just keep himself safe as the whole of IG jumping in. Wink actually got 6. Oh, flashes for the ult after the Renata ult there. Wink goes down though, as Icon just tanking for his whole team, finally falls himself. But that's a mid laner for his support. BLG need to make more happen. There's one for Crisp, but Shun and On jumping onto Doggo. The rend is there. Can he get one last Q? Crisp blocks it, as On can't chase for any more. But even still, it's an even trade. But it does mean IG can get onto the Drake.
Yeah, great job from Wink to get that engage. And as you say, you know, even on the trade with the kills, but the Dragon going in favor of IG is going to be super good for them. Especially now that you get to see On pushing in on those bot side. You'll actually get to crash this wave, so you end up losing a little bit of CS in that bot lane as well for the Aphelios. But Icon, I think here, just a little bit of mistake going that bit too deep. Crisp nearly gets this great ultimate off, but not quite able to get onto some of the key members. Cleanse from On as well instantly, and then Wink with this flash in. You just have IG with the earlier scaling composition. They have so much more damage here from On, from the Xin Zhao as well. And oh, we're back into his fight instantly, but Wink,
there is no reprieve.
No,
no
I'm fine with that. I am totally okay with that. I'm along for the ride of whatever this game is right now.
I know, especially in a BLG game. You go into a BLG game and you're like, you know what, this is going to be slow, this is going to be boring. Either Herald? No, they can't quite get it in time. IG can't destroy the Herald. As BLG now, one thing to quickly mention, IG did get the Drake during that replay, so it is 1 Drake for IG now. Gold slightly ahead for IG as well.
God!
But it's in trouble. Here comes the Goon Squad. Icon has transformed this team.
Yeah, someone needs to record scratch that moment. Where it's like, I guess you're wondering how I got here. Honestly. On is just like, I'm underneath tower. This is totally fine. And next thing you know, there's just 3 members show up. I mean, BLG, they were killing him no matter what it took.
Yeah, they wanted to make a play, and Icon 100% kill participation on this Sylas. I am loving what I'm seeing, and I am, let's be honest, Dagda, historically not a big fan of Icon. I've said my fair share of criticisms towards Icon over the years of LPL, but today on BLG, I'm loving what I'm seeing.
And I have to say, it is still slightly hilarious to me that, like, BLG and these plays from Icon, absolutely spectacular when it's them going towards a lane, like, canking an opponent. The second we get into team fights, BLG lose the fight. So we're still seeing everything that is consistent with BLG.
Oh my god, On just doesn't get to play. They do the round warp Goon Squad, and then immediately after, everyone just hides in the bot lane brush, and On gets wrecked again. 2 back-to-back deaths there for the IG bot laner. The weird thing is, they're not even, there's no Drake or anything. The goal was literally just to buy Doggo space to get on this tower.
Yeah, and I mean, he'd be very close to taking it down as well. And the fact you're setting this Kalista behind means that she basically just is going to be useless. She doesn't really get to do particularly much for the rest of the game. And it's not, as you say, with no objective on the map, it's not like IG of anything that they can actually turn towards. Although they will try and look for this play on the top side and see if they can get play onto Bin. But he has Flash. He's meant to go Mega Gnar. I just don't really feel like there's a play you can make up here.
Are we on auto-director? Yeah, the camera's been like following characters very closely. I guess Observer really needed a wee.
Yeah, he just needed to, you know, put the feet up, you know, take an L stretch. Maybe he had to go make a cup of coffee for himself.
You know?
Yeah.
He was like, it's a BLG game. I can just put my feet up. He's realized this is not. I'm going to have to concentrate for this one. Get some coffee. He's woken up now. Herald on the board. 6-4 on the scoreboard here. Gold just about even. And everybody piling in. Bin on his way. He's going to be the last one to the play. But BLG, enough presence to push IG off for now.
The thing is, though, Bin will have to stack up his Gnar bar before he gets here as well. So it's a lot of time before Bin's going to be a big factor. And IG, they're able to just steal this one away before BLG are really in position. So we kind of get the reverse side of this first Rift Herald, where it's now IG who are kind of forcing BLG to dance their drum at the Rift Herald.
I saw BLG all grouped up in that singular brush then, and you're against an Amumu. I could see disaster in their future, but everybody backs away in the end. The Herald, as you say, going to Shun. And a nice little pickup by IG. BLG, I'm not sure if indecisive or also agreeing that Amumu's not the champion they want to fight right now.
Yeah, I think at the moment, BLG just want to wait to scale a little bit. Doggo to get into a position where he's comfortable. You got WeiWei as well, who's going to have good late game scaling. But as you say, you still have to be careful. Like, Zika late game is going to be really good in these team fights, especially because you are playing against relatively short range AD carry in Doggo. Like, Doggo has to step into the Hollowed Mist to deal his damage, which can be very, very tough for BLG's AD carry, but we'll have to see. Zika will find WeiWei.
Getting a bit of damage down onto the BLG jungler. In the meantime, Bin pushing on the top side. Drake about to spawn in 25 seconds, but Bin does have TP. He's exhausted from Gnar currently, though. Not even stacking. There we go. Finally getting some rage stacks on the board. But he'll just get this tower. Drake's still not even spawned just yet. He has TP. He can keep this up all day.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he tries to threaten the tier 2. I mean, a second dragon at this stage is totally fine for BLG to give up if they want to. Because simply put, like, you've got 10 minutes, 15 minutes until, like, you actually have to worry about, like, a soul or anything like that. So, I mean, BLG even going to get this one. So, overall, they're actually in a fine spot. But IG kind of saying, well, screw that. We're just going to run mid, try and get this play off of Rift Herald while you put resources into the bottom side of Rift.
Yeah, Bin actually ran mid as TP'd mid, sorry, turned Gnar, and IG back away off on the top side of the play. So, all things considered, it's a trade of a mid tower there. Well, actually, no, they didn't quite finish the mid tower. It was close, though. As BLG try and answer that mid tower, Zika jumps on forward using that Hallowed Mist. Bin turning mini Gnar. This is the opportunity for IG. If they can find the fight, Zika goes forward. There's one onto Crisp. Doggo trying to finish it off, but on jumps over the wall. Wink stuns Doggo up, but he escapes somehow. Finally taken down. Wink versus another AD carry, but this time he's the sad mummy. Causes a bit of despair, but Icon, he's a little sad himself. Turning it around, but IG, they've just got too many players.
Oh, it looks so good. I saw the play. I was like, Icon has got it the flash. He's going to be able to do it, but IG just too far ahead in the fight, and they will get the kills. They will get the tower, and IG have just about eked themselves out of gold lead.
They certainly have, just about. Like you say, 1,000 is their lead. It was BLG, it was BLG that got the Drake in the end, but this was not really about the Drake. This was BLG extending for a tower.
Yeah, you can see there, Bin didn't get the Gnar off just as he turned mini. He was hoping to kind of push Shun out of the equation, but BLG incredibly separated here. Icon was on the bottom side of the map, so wasn't actually here as BLG tried to overextend for the tower. And he does end up stealing away the Amumu, but again, like, you've got WeiWei, you got Icon. Bin is trying to come back into the equation, but he can't really do particularly much. And without the resets really there for WeiWei, he's not able to carry this fight. So just unfortunate timing again from BLG, but what we were bringing up, right? Like, even when BLG get these early leads, their team fighting still uncoordinated, not having people in the right places before they look for engages, or are just trying to overextend on the map.
Yeah, it feels like BLG, once again, issues with communication there, right? Icon on the bottom side of the map, the rest of the team overextending mid, not anticipating that IG could force that fight. And the thing is, it wasn't even winged, right? I don't think they anticipate that Zika could just run at them and take a kill that easily, right? They thought that they were safe, and they were sorely mistaken. So now gold lead, as you said before, 1,000 for IG. Baron onto the map in 5 seconds time. I don't think either team really in a position to threat.
I think they're just going to chill out for a little bit of time. From IG's perspective, I actually think they're in a relatively good spot here where they can push mid and have Wing start to roam around, potentially look for dives underneath towers. As the Curse of the Sad, I was about to say Curse of the Sad bullet time, but it's just because this is such an old school call. Curse of the Sad mummy is out of play, but I don't know if IG want to do this.
Well,
this is a bit...
I was wrong. I was very wrong, Dagda. They do want to just go for the Baron here. Wink decides against the Hex Smash in the end. 5k on the Baron. Remember, this is a Kalista. They can just combo for the fight. 2k into 50-50, and Shun gets it in the end. Now the fight ensuing. IG in the back of the pit. They get one kill for themselves. Wink sacrificed for the cause. Can the rest of the team win? Moonlight Vigil goes wide. Shun in the back of the pit. Zika over the wall. On trying to 1v1 Bin. In the meantime, though, Doggo's going crazy. Shun's going to go down, but managed to get a double before he does. Keeps himself safe for a second. IG, they get a Baron. It's a 3 for 4. I have no idea if that was worth.
I mean, just from the gold that everyone gets at IG, it will be worth. You can see there, like, they still have 1,000 gold lead off the play from getting Baron, even going down a kill. But, I mean, that could have gone so much worse. I actually gotta give shout out to Wink. Wink is playing out of his mind in this game. Like, the fact he goes forward here and gets onto Crisp and Doggo is the reason that nobody's able to follow up on this brilliant engage from Crisp. Like, if you actually have Doggo in the mix in this pit, this is a very different story. But Wink, as he said, sacrificing himself here so that then the rest of IG can actually mount an offense. Xun as well, realizing, hey, look, I need to go in here, or again, my team are going to be stuck. And On, unfortunately, wasn't able to hop over the pit wall like the Gwen was, or it could have been a better trade for them. But you still have the Baron on Zika. You can still put a good amount of pressure in the side lane. And I think this is where we're going to start to see Zika take over a bit. 4-0-2 on this Gwen. 2 items now completed with the Nashor's Tooth. Like, Zika's in a great spot.
Yep, he certainly is. 4-0-2. We'll see what Zika can do in this next fight. 15 seconds until that Drake comes up. Bit of vision there for IG as they try and move forward. They try and contest. Icon taking a Fate's call. I didn't see who he bound to early on, but I would assume it would be WeiWei, of all people, really. Xun takes a hit. That's a Gravitum as well. Bit more damage down onto the jungler. We're just going to fight. We're just going to go in. Icon turns going into the middle of everyone. It's a big hostile takeover, but not big enough. Been about to turn Mega. Maybe he gets some stuns, but there's no follow-up from the team. In comes WeiWei. That's the follow-up we were looking for. He's turned into Gwen, and it's a 1-for-1.
Somehow BLG managed to turn that around as Doggo looking for more.
Oh, Doggo so close. His flash was a split second on cooldown, or he could have finished that kill. Beautifully played. BLG finding a bit of space.
I mean, they do get the kills, but it was very messy in that fight. You're looking at Icon going in when Doggo's not really in a position to follow up. He's been using the Mega Gnar, but again, the rest of BLG are all running for the hills. This is a bit of a miracle that this worked out, because watch where Doggo is here, right? Like, he's not able to follow up in this at all. He's got to wrap the whole way around the wall as Icon goes in. So the entire time that Icon is golden, you're getting no damage actually coming out from Doggo. He gets a couple of shots off the back. And even here, Bin going in aggressive while Doggo is walking away. Crisp has already used the Shirelia's Reverie to back out as well. And suddenly everyone from BLG is going in. This is the miscommunication that we were talking about. And honestly, like, they're kind of lucky that this fight went as well as it did.
Xun's extremely lucky that he managed to survive that one at the end of it. Like, and I agree that, like, clearly BLG are separated. I'm starting to get to the point though where I'm not sure if this is like a communication issue or like a fundamental difference between the BLG players on how you should be playing League of Legends, right? Because I feel like it's been too consistent to just be that they're not talking to each other. I feel like that's something that you can very easily fix.
Yeah, I mean, look, we did see the documentary with Breathe on the team, where he was getting very frustrated at the communication issues that are on the team, where people are just screaming and not listening to each other. So it could easily be a communication, or honestly, as you can see there, like a difference in how far you want to push the game, how heavily you want to go forward. So it could be either of those things. But it's not quite working for BLG either way, although as I say that, been getting a nice trade. But I want to see if they can add that consistency in. Like, it feels like you've got the star power here to make it work. And honestly, in this game, it may not even matter. I think the scaling from WeiWei and Doggo may just starting to become too much for IG to handle.
I will say, Dagda, like, look, if they have issues on whether or not they're going in, I think Bin will certainly solve those issues. And it seems like Icon will too, right? These guys want to go in. Bin is historically known for just wanting to go in. Whereas Icon, I wouldn't say that's the case necessarily as a reputation for this player, but based on what we're seeing today, it feels like this guy wants to be proactive. So it might be an issue that Doggo and Crisp need to start being a bit more aggressive themselves as well. As WeiWei backing away, just staying slightly out of vision, will finally be spotted. No Drake on the map right now. Just posturing for a fight anyway. And you know what? That's the kind of League of Legends I love.
Yeah, I think it's about trying to set up vision control here for IG, where they can actually push mid, lean into the jungle here, as you can see, and now get to slowly but surely creep their vision forward, because they want to get bot tower, they want to be able to keep control over how much of the map BLG have access to, but that requires them to actually be able to potentially find in this bot side to get that control in.
Looks like Zika will be able to finish this tower off in the end, so they do find that bot tower that they were looking for. And so far, so good. And I have to say, Dagda, I just want to return to what we were saying. I'm impressed by IG this split. I feel like they're developing an identity for themselves. I feel like a lot of these players, in fact, all of these players, didn't really have a big reputation before they joined IG. They are starting to build those reputations for themselves. I mean, Wink certainly has a reputation for himself, but like Yuekai, Xun, these players, Zika, finding themselves identities on this roster. They're becoming the stars of the show instead of players like Rookie and the Shy.
Yeah, I think Shun in particular, especially when Shun was back on the roster with the Shy and Rookie, you could see he was kind of being pulled around by the veterans on the team. But now that he's been able to play his own game a lot more, I think he's shown that he's an incredibly strong jungler. As I say that, we'll find some members of BLG, but I think he's just been incredible with his pathing, like the fact that he's able to bring out these massive carry performances. Like the fact he's the highest damage percent on all of IG as a jungler speaks volumes to what he's doing.
Icon has taken the curse of the sad mummy once again. That is a scary moment for IG. Wink is not scared though. He goes in. Hostile takeover. Wink goes even deeper. He was like 2 HP and he goes in anyway. BLG handily finding an advantage in this fight, but Shun on the front line. Maybe it can turn around. On trying to get the resets here, trying to take the kills, but they just don't have the damage. BLG find their moment off the back of Wink's aggression. On turns one around. Health bars are low. That's a little dicey for BLG.
Yeah, On is only half health though, and I don't know if he can try and stop this. There's no TP available for 30 seconds until Zika spawns, and I mean, On has to make some sort of miracle play here. Has the flash, but needs to avoid Doggo.
I mean, Doggo has the tank, which means they have no damage for the Baron, right? On might be able to find something miraculous. Bin on the front line is about to turn Mega. This could be disastrous for either team. It's been going down. Baron taken by BLG and a TP from Icon to scare the Kalista away.
I knew that On had auto-attack auto-attack Gnar and Bin, but Jesus, I thought he got the Baron for a second. I was like, holy moly. But IG gonna use this opportunity to turn it over towards the Dragon for themselves, but a massive win for BLG in that fight. And unfortunately for Wink, kind of going that bit too deep. It looked wonderful, but they just, IG weren't in a position to try and follow up on the play. We'll catch it here in the replay. Like, it's a really good engage, using the minion as that kind of moment to get in onto the back line, but Doggo instantly cleanses, and look how far Zika has to go forward before he can even get any sort of damage off.
I feel like Wink had such a good engage, and then just goes again on like 200 HP. It's like, I don't know about that one, Chief. Now up in the top side, Yuekai getting absolutely annihilated. Again, the Goon Squad from BLG. I don't even know how that one kicked off. I don't know how we ended up in that situation, but BLG find themselves a tier 2 off the back of it.
And no Zhonya's is available for Yuekai there. You can see he's just about to come off a cooldown, so might have been able to get to the safety of his tower and survive, but now you've got pushing lanes for BLG. They get the top tier 2, Baron up creeps in the mid, but look at that bottom side of the map. Bin trying to shove in that wave all the way in, so IG are able to put the majority of their forces in the mid lane and would at least defend that tier 2 for the moment, but a minute and a half still left on this Baron. There's a lot more waves that they have to contend with.
Certainly are. WeiWei actually having a really good game for himself right now. 7-3 and 5, doing well on the smites as well so far. And we'll see if BLG can finish this one off. 2,000 gold lead for themselves, and I love, like, this game has forced BLG to be proactive, has forced them to be ones making plays, and Icon seems to have changed this team for the better right now, because they're looking to get this first win on the board in the series, but they still have to dot those I's and cross those T's. They haven't broken the base just yet.
And I think Icon is my MVP for this game. He probably won't get it because, I mean, WeiWei has like 7 and 3 kills. I think Doggo's had a spectacular game. But the reason that this game went the way it did is because of those early roams from Icon. And the fact he's in a lane against the Ryze where he shouldn't actually be getting those roams off, shouldn't have control of the wave state, but still finds those moments where Yuekai's on a reset to push in a wave, go group up bot side, like dropping a 1 or 2 CS here and there to make sure that his team succeeds. Like, this is what we're talking about for Icon. This is why he's been such a good addition to BLG.
As Shun wanted to clear vision there, decides against it in the end, backs away, and rightly so. But I totally agree. Icon's absolutely the MVP for me if BLG wins this game. But there's still time. On having a pretty good game for himself on the Kalista, almost full build at this point. And I feel like these scraps have been pretty damn close. Like, if it just goes slightly differently, I can easily see IG taking one of these fights and suddenly finding themselves back in control of the game.
Yeah, it's just the problem is just the scaling that BLG are on. Like, yes, you've got On who's nearly a full build, but Doggo nearly finishing off his rapid fire cannon as well. Like, he's getting very close to full build, and Aphelios with 4 items is so insanely strong as well. And when you look across at like IG, yes, you got Zika, who's got some great late game scaling, working towards the demonic embrace now as well. But I mean, WeiWei's huge. You've got Bane, who's got good frontline, Crisp as well. It's just the value that this enchanter brings to the table is insane.
Doggo's found on. That's big damage, but not enough big damage. Shield bow going to be proc. Shun found in the jungle in the meantime. Wink moving forward. Hostile takeover is going to keep them in their tracks right there. Wink can't move. He can't play. That's going to be the Kalista ult to keep him safe here. And IG get away by the skin of their teeth.
Huge amount invested there on both sides, though. You've got Shun having to use his ult, Wink even using the ultimate as well, just to buy space before he gets the Fate's Call. So you got it now, BLG, who have the higher health bars, at least able to push in this wave, will not have any vision on this bottom side, though, as the dragon is about to spawn in a minute. So they will take a bit of a quick reset, so they can try and establish some control in River with all the waves now pushed in favor of BLG.
Yeah, 1 minute on this Drake. You can see IG trying to push forward for vision, but there's no way. There's no way they can contest with Yuekai topside currently recalling. Zika just about pushing that wave out, but it's not even going to hit the halfway mark in the bottom lane. It feels like IG are losing ground here and struggling to maintain control of their own jungle, struggling to maintain control of the mid lane by the looks of things as Shun gets rooted by the Gravitum. I love how aggressive Doggo has been this game.
And that's who you need to get onto here is IG. If you hope to hold on to this game, it needs to be about getting onto this Aphelios, but Cleanse is available for Doggo, Flash as well. So even these big ultimates, if they're available for Wink, aren't going to cut it. You need more help onto that back side. And we're looking at Yuekai to see if he can maybe have some sort of creative Rift, not Rift Maker, what's the Realm Warp, sorry, that I'm looking at to see if he can try and put his team into a position where they can have multiple flank angles and get onto Doggo.
See if they can. IG getting collapsed upon here. Icon's got the curse of the sad mummy. Can he get to the backline is the question. Wink's gone down already. And Arn's in trouble. Curse of the sad. Nah! BLG jump in the middle of everyone. And Zika left alone in the world. It's BLG taking the fight and taking the game.
I don't know what today is, Munch, but if you told me when I woke up that I was going to have a BLG series with more kills than there are minutes in the game, I would have called you a goddamn liar. But my god, am I happy that we exist in this universe.
The thumbs down coming out from WeiWei here. What a game. BLG actually being proactive. Icon has changed this team. If he doesn't get an MVP for that game, man, I'll be devastated. He absolutely deserves it.
Yeah, Glock in my lap, firing on all cylinders today. That man, absolutely insane. Being able to roam around the map consistently, like, this was beautiful. Like, this is what I love to see. Like, that BLG are actually bringing in this, like, and look, I think Fofo is an incredibly strong carry, but bringing in Icon and the fact that he's getting these roams off, he's actually driving the early game for BLG. We talked about how important this mid-jungle was going to be, how important it was for Icon to try and steal the Realm Warps, look for plays, and he was... I mean, honestly, he used every ultimate in the other team better than they used their own ultimates. Like, his Realm Warps were more impressive. His Curse of the Sad Mummies were more impressive. Like, honestly, it was absolutely incredible to see what he was able to achieve.
I will say, in Wink's defense, he had some good ults. It was just the follow-up bandage tosses that I wasn't so convinced by. What a game. What a game. And honestly, I wasn't super convinced by the Icon change. Like, I preferred it over Fofo, but I felt like it was going to be somewhat of a side grade. I understand the pitch now. I understand the logic of picking this guy up. Clearly, BLG needed a leader. And Icon, he's experienced. This guy's been around. He's been playing for 6 years or something like that. Like, he is the leader that apparently this team needed. Because, yes, there are still clearly some communication issues. They're not all necessarily on the same page. But you can see the beginnings of something that could really work for the squad. And I'm on board, Dagda. I'm absolutely on board.
Yeah, especially when you've got so many strong members on this team. Like, when you look at, I mean, they've been the super team. Like, this team was the most talked about when we came into spring. A lot of people had them, like, second, if not first. And then there was a lot of other people, like, say, Ryze, for instance, were like, no, too many names on this team. You need to try and figure something out. Otherwise, you are just going to fall prey to everyone wanting to try and be the big carry. And that's exactly what we saw for BLG. But now that you kind of got Icon coming in who's willing to take that step back, I think Crisp as well has been one of the best supports still that we have in the league despite what's happening on BLG. It looks like you're starting to see a recipe for success. It's just about making sure that they've got the right measurements for themselves when they go in towards those team fights.
Yeah, that's the long and short of it, right? Is whether or not they can all fulfill the roles that they need to. I have to say, I'm kind of impressed by Icon's damage. Quite often you see Sylas numbers being fairly low, even in wins. But actually, doing pretty well across the, I mean, I think Curse of the Sad Mummy helps, because that does big damage when you're using it on Sylas. You're hitting everyone. But fantastic stuff, honestly. Really impressed by Icon, really impressed by the team. Really impressed by the proactivity. I keep on saying it, but I think that's the most important thing, is that we've seen a different BLG today. We've seen them, you know, the realm warp to dive on in the bottom lane and then just group it up in that brush to just re-kill on again. Like, I love that kind of creative play. That's something I've never seen from BLG before.
And I really like that they kind of felt like understood what they had to do with the draft that they had, right? Like, Doggo always going to be the main damage dealer in this draft. So making sure that once we saw Doggo fall behind in the early stages, because let's be realistic, like, he got battered those first 2 levels. Like, dying level 1, then being pushed out of lane after he came back to lane meant that he was completely out of the mix. The fact that then you get Icon is like, all right, cool, don't worry guys, I'm gonna make sure that I can get you across the finish line. Plays down towards bot side, gets a ton of kills for Doggo, even allows him to get that first tower blood on that bottom side as well. Like, that was so crucial for Doggo being relevant in this game, and I think that's why, look, I don't think he will get MVP, but I really think Icon should be MVP in this game.
Well, Dagda, the last time I saw BLG this creative was back in 2020 when Meteor played Maokai Jungle. It's been a long time since that happened. We'll see if they can keep the creativity up in game number 2.